We all love adventures, and the more challenging, the better. On Memorial Day weekend 2021, a group of us set out on a monumental journey. We are attempting to drive from the famous Giant Rock to Glen Helen, California, across the San Bernardino Mountains on almost only dirt roads. If we make it, it'll be a 141-mile journey with some of the most challenging 4x4 places in the mountains between us and our goal. We only have 3 days to do this, so we gotta keep moving. Join us for day 3, the final day of our mountain marathon run. This trip is across the beautiful San Bernardino Mountains in Southern California. We started in Landers, California at the famous Giant Rock, with the goal of crossing the mountains and ending in Glen Helen, California. In 2 days, we have traveled 80 miles of roads with some of the most difficult trails in the mountains along our path. After day 2, we camped after 45 miles of travel, but we still have 9 Black Diamond trails and 66 miles between us and our goal.
Happy Monday! Made it to Holcomb. We're at the beginning of Holcomb, so we're going to start that now. Get on down the road to the other trails.
We camped near the east side of the Holcomb Creek Trail, with the hopes of an early start to help us reach our goal. After the gatekeeper, we found a rare sight in these mountains.
Oh, little snow plant on the trail.
They only grow at the base of western pines. Randy and Carmen only came out for the day, so today starts out with just 3 ribs. Sharon and I, Scotty, and Chuck and Alicia are the last holdouts. The early morning light really sets off some of the features along the way, and we have the trail all to ourselves at this time of the morning. Holcomb Creek is a 6-mile long trail, and like John Bull, is one of the toughest ones in the mountains. This trail has gatekeepers at both ends of the trail. Those gatekeepers are there to warn you of the kind of trouble you will find ahead. Well, the Middle Rock Garden are why those gatekeepers are there.
Nice. That's one way of doing it.
Being Memorial Day weekend, we still have a lot of spring runoff, so the ground beneath the boulders is pretty wet and slick. Since we're trying to put some miles behind us today, we're trying to find the lines with the best traction. But this is way easier said than done. At the western end of Holcomb Creek, there's a long boulder-filled slope. This is the West Gatekeeper. All the folks that have been on this 3-day adventure are a part of the Adopt a Trail program. The program was developed to help maintain the trails in the National Forest. And Holcomb Creek is our adopted trail. After you exit, the creek that gives the trail its name crosses the main forest road. This is a good spot to take a break and take some great photos. Unfortunately, here we lose Chuck and Alicia. After all, it is the last day, and they have a long drive home. Alright, we're headed into Dispensary Springs downhill. Dispensary Springs is the only forest road that connects the eastern and western trail networks.
Ooh, good old Dishpan.
And it is black diamond rated for all types of vehicles.
Well, motorcycles left. After having a collision, we're ready to come down the trail.
The area called the Waterfall is usually the toughest part of the trail. I feel it's most difficult going uphill, and we're sort of catching a break by going downhill. Regardless of direction, there are lots of options here. And I've seen some flops or near misses on many of them. But right now we're just trying to find a line that helps us to keep moving. If you've been following this adventure since day one, you can probably see that the pace and urgency has increased as each day slips by. Our casual pace on day one seems more like an endurance race by day 3. Alright, turning left onto 2N27Y. After crossing Deep Creek, we get to a series of black diamond trails that all end in Y. 2N27Y is 1.5 miles long. Combined with 28Y and 29Y, the total run is about 3.5 miles. 2N27Y is a steep, fun uphill run. Most of the trail is narrow with very little or no room to pass. Not a trail you want to vapor lock on. Got traffic. Luckily for us, the only place that we ran into traffic was in a spot that wasn't crazy steep. I got one behind me coming up the hill. One behind me. All right. It is really difficult to get good video on these kind of trails. So please take my word for it that 2N28Y is a short connector, and 2N29Y is pretty much a downhill version of 27Y. We are moving quick now, so I didn't get video of Black Diamond number 11. The Willow Creek Cutoff is a steep rutted hill for the most part. After a brief bit of paved road, we find ourselves on the Pilot Rock side trails. While mostly moderate, this series of side trails lead to some fun spots along the way. The trails are named after this rock. Legend has it that early pilots used this rock for navigation. This is my favorite spot of this trail. You can have fun going up or downhill here. Right after that is this optional play spot. It has changed pretty radically over the years, but there always seems to be fun to be found here. Our next Black Diamond Trail is 2N17X.
2N17X downhill. Which way is the easier way?
Not an easier way.
This is a fun trail with rutted hills and rocky outcrops. And it's a great way to climb up out of the late spring high desert heat. It's just too bad that we're going the wrong way for that. And the temps are starting to climb.
A good run. I have to do it again.
At this point, it is mid-afternoon on day 3. After this trail, we still have 36 miles to go and one more Black Diamond Trail. That trail is the 13-mile-long Cleghorn Trail. It is just not looking good for us to get to Glen Helen by dirt roads before dark. It is a really hard decision, but we decide to call it quits at the end of 2N17X. But we made a good run at it though, with 110.4 miles of actually traveled roads, Only 9.4 of those were paved. I'd be willing to try it again, but not on a holiday weekend and not in just 3 days. There are just way too many fun things to see and do in the mountains.
Alright, that's the end of our mountain marathon for this trip. Try to do it again later. Time to air up.